Welcome to Raw Audit Reviews, where we shine a light on police misconduct, break down your legal rights, and hold public officials accountable. Today's footage comes courtesy of Kolee Berks. You'll find their link down below, so go show them some support and check out the full clip. In this episode, a routine bit of filming outside Bexley Heath Police Station turned into a textbook example of officers stretching their authority, misquoting legislation, and politely but firmly being corrected on public rights.
Yeah, this one's gonna get troublesome. I already know what's gonna go down. Look at no particular reason, just because this is what I've chosen to do today. Would you mind identifying, please?
PC Dean.
Okay.
Code number 17920.
Thank you. And yourself?
Okay.
Why are you lot all coming out like this? You're making me feel nervous.
Because
like,
when people start filming outside of our police station, it tends to alert red flags. Okay?
for what reason?
Mainly for terrorism. I'm not saying you are.
When an officer says something like people mainly film police stations for terrorism, it's a loaded statement. It plants the idea of suspicion without directly accusing you, a tactic known as implied association. Legally, in the UK, filming in public, including police stations, is not a crime. There is no law that prevents you from doing it. The mention of terrorism is often used as a conversation control technique to unsettle you, hint at a serious implication, and potentially justify a stop and search under terrorism legislation.
Okay.
Okay, but mainly because majority of people come around, they like to film our cars, know what our registrations are, know what our police officers look like.
What?
Okay?
Okay.
No procedures for getting in and out of the building safe and securely. So that in that way, they can potentially perform a terrorist attack, okay, and have it all on recording. So that's why we come down and we like to check to make sure why they are. So you asked me to identify myself.
Yeah, I'm not going to identify. No,
myself,
no.
Why is that?
I'm not required to. I'm not committing any offence.
You're not required to. You're not committing any offence.
Yeah, absolutely.
However, you are in a public place.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Exactly.
So under Section 50 of the Police Reform Act,
Okay.
you could be required to identify yourself with name and address, or you could be arrested. Okay, if your
What if
behaviour
I'm
is believed to be
antisocial? So am I
behaviour.
behaving antisocially?
The officer brings up Section 50 of the Police Reform Act 2002, which gives the police power to require your name and address only if they reasonably believe you're engaging in antisocial behaviour. Antisocial behaviour, however, is behaviour likely to cause harassment, alarm or distress to members of the public, not just standing outside a police station with a camera. Filming in public is not, by itself, antisocial behaviour. It's perfectly lawful unless your actions are actively causing harassment, alarm or distress. Section 50 does not apply. In this situation, the officer might be trying to pressure or bluff the auditor into providing details. However, mentioning Section 50 without clear grounds can be seen as a misuse of power or an attempt to unlawfully obtain personal information.
Filming outside the police
Does
station
not constitute antisocial behaviour, no. Is that the route we're going to go down? I'm not going to give you my name. I'm not going to give you my name. I wouldn't suggest using the Section 50 power. You would have to prove that I'm behaving antisocially, causing members of the public harassment, alarm and... Okay, so how's my behaviour?
If you're filming and the fact that you're standing outside, there's a member of the public to walk past and feel completely distressed by the fact that you...
How would they feel distressed by that? Am I engaging anyone else? I'm just here filming you.
You walk past...
What are we doing? Are you going to nick me now, are you?
Well, I'm going to ask you to move on, sir.
I'm not going to move on. I'm in a public place.
At the moment, you're not in a public place, sir. This is cast as a private place.
Nah, it's not private property.
Generally, public land includes roads, pavements, footpaths, and areas the public has free access to. Even if land is owned by the police or local authority, if it's open to the public without clear signs, barriers, or restrictions, is still considered a public place in the law for purposes of most legislation, like the Public Order Act and even Section 50 of the Police Reform Act 2002. Unless it's marked, fenced off, or has a legal restriction, a pavement directly outside a police station is still a public place.
I'm not. Look, this is a pavement, mate. What are you talking about?
I'll tell you what, sir, if you want to be in a private place or a public place, take a step in that pavement.
No, I'm good here. I'm good here. So this is not a private place. How is this a private place? Look at where we are. Look. Just so the camera can pick it up, yeah? So if it...
So there's your yellow lines.
No. You're talking nonsense, mate. You're talking rubbish. And there you are, mate. You're trying to flex jurisdiction. Let's just pack it in. Yes, you are. I will carry on filming. No, I'm not going to step there. So we've got Section 50, and now we're talking about private land. What's
Try it
next?
down in the Metropolitan
What's
Police
next?
Office.
What's next?
So I'm correcting what I'm telling you.
No,
okay?
you're just flexing
I'm not
unnecessarily.
flexing at
Yes,
all.
you
I don't need to
are.
flex unnecessarily. You're not an issue to me. 1792.
All right, I'm not an issue.
Crack
No
it down.
worries.
You are not an issue to me.
Good.
I have no reason to
Good.
flex to you.
Good.
You are not that much of an issue.
Good.
I'm
Then
saying,
there
right,
should be
carry
no
on filming.
reason. There should be
Back
no.
onto the
There should be
pavement
no.
over there. It's not a problem
There
at
should
all.
be no concerns about me filming then if that's the case.
Well, generally there is concerns.
Well, you just said that I'm not an issue to you.
You're not an issue for me to flex. That means I'm not bothered by you. You're not big, high and mighty, okay?
Okay. It's not about me. It's about you. This is about your ego, not about mine.
It's
Not about your. Yeah, of course it
Your
is.
ego needs to be approved and swept and fucking stroked because you're standing
Did you
there.
just swear?
Because, yeah, I did just swear.
So
I'm
you
not in a
just-
public place.
Yes, of course you're in a public place. You just committed a section 5.
I'm not in a public
Hold on,
place.
hold on,
This
hold
is
on, hold
private
on.
land.
Dean, bruh.
This is
Pack it
private
in,
land.
mate. Pack it in,
Public
mate.
places over there.
Pack it in, mate.
Public
Mate,
places
pack
over
it in
there.
right now. Don't swear again. We're all in a public place. This is all public.
Private.
This is all public. This is all publicly accessible. Show me where the boundary is that denotes public and
That
private.
yellow line.
No, double yellow line doesn't denote private property. Dean, mate, you're digging yourself a hole. You're digging yourself a hole. You just swore. You started with section 50. Then you're saying private property. Even if this was private property, it's a civil matter. This is publicly accessible. This isn't private property anyway.
This is private
mate,
land, sir. This is called
mate, this has not been good. Mate, this ain't good.
Okay.
Why are
feel
you
free.
swearing? Can I swear? Can I use the F word?
You can swear if you want, sir.
So I can say fuck, yeah?
Congratulations.
Fuck. Yeah, no, I feel good, yeah.
Well done. Okay. Just we'll carry through. We've got that paper.
And you did swear in a public place.
Private.
This ain't private, mate.
It's,
No, it's not. You're making yourself look ridiculous. Just go back inside, mate. All right.
In addition to what my colleagues are telling you, you have to take a pinch of common sense as well.
I don't have to take a pinch of nothing. I don't have to take any advice from any of you. I'm in a public place filming, which is lawful. And you've tried to threaten me. Yeah, you have. Yes, you have. You haven't educated me. I'm educating you right now. Go on.
Like, with you standing so close to the entrance.
I'm not obstructing you, am I?
No, but you need to listen. With you standing so close to an entrance, filming, that poses security questions for us, okay? There are people who wish to do the police harm.
Okay, I'm not one of those.
Okay, but we don't know that, do we? So
Well, you have to go based on what you do know.
You haven't identified yourself, so
I don't
we
need
have
to.
treat you as an unknown risk, so we don't know.
Why am I at risk? This is a camera.
Because you're
The phrase unknown risk is downright dangerous and not a legal standard. The police must base their actions on reasonable suspicion of wrongdoing or threat, not just uncertainty. Treating everyone as an unknown risk dangerously blurs the line between lawful policing and arbitrary suspicion, which is violating basic human rights.
an unknown risk. Common sense.
Based on
would-
what? If an old
Sir,
granny
you're
was
not letting
filming
me
here,
finish.
would she be an unknown risk?
You're not letting me finish, so that you can't understand my point. Okay. By you standing here, common sense would dictate that poses a security risk.
Why?
to the
Is the building
police
not
section.
secure? Like, you
Well,
lot
with
are
you
armed, like
standing
you've got a
here-
taser. Like, what sort of security
with
risk
you
is it?
standing here constantly, filming cars coming in and out. Right next
Marked
doors are
cars,
open,
marked
right
cars
next
that
to
are
where a
paid
gate
for by the
opens
taxpayer.
in
I've
and
got every
out.
right to film them.
Right next to where a gate opens in and out. Like I said, you're an unknown risk. You've got a bag. We don't know what you've got on you. You could run
All
in.
right,
You could
well,
have something on
well,
you that we don't know.
Yeah, well,
so that's why.
I mean, there's lots of members of the public that have stuff on them that you don't know.
I know, but they're not.
Are they all
themselves
unknown
right
risks
in
as
front
well?
of you.
Yeah, well, I can be here.
Everyone's an unknown risk.
Everyone's an unknown risk. We don't live in a police state where everyone's an unknown risk and you're constantly doing surveillance. What sort of you lot have been brainwashed or something? I'm just a member of the public. Chill out. We're not all unknown risks. What are they teaching you in training? Unknown risk. Is this a police state? Do you have to spy on each other? All like we all have to like snitch on each other? What's going on here? Like, what is going on here?
So we have to manage risk. So we always have to manage risk, and that's why we have to do
Hey, you lot are-
unknown risk and known risk.
No.
So anything that we don't know is unknown to us, so we have to treat it with an element of caution.
Okay.
Yeah? That's fair to say, isn't it?
Okay, I mean-
that's a common sense approach to this. And because we don't know you, you've not identified yourself with us, we don't know the risks that you pose.
Would you identify yourself?
Yeah, I'm PC Cook,
Okay.
1654.
Sure.
Yeah? And I'm just talking to you like I would to anybody else.
All right.
And that's the point I'm trying to impress to you today, sir, that's all.
Okay, now what?
Well, like my colleague said, because we don't know you, we don't know the risks, we are going to just ask you to move on to the public point.
This is public here. I guarantee you 100% this is public here.
But with your proximity...
And even if it was private, this is publicly accessible. Look. Just for some context, right? He's saying this yellow line denotes where it's public, where it's private. So how could this possibly be private property? Even let's say hypothetically it was private property, yeah?
Boundary line, sir.
Who owns this property? Does the Met Police own this property, or would they hypothetically lease the property?
Owns this property. It's
No, they
gifted to
don't.
us by Bexley Council.
Okay, right. So, who
This is
pays for the
property- this is
council?
property that can't be
How's the council funded? I'm pretty sure this is leased anyway. I'm pretty sure the Met don't own this.
This was gifted to us.
So,
You know that for a fact, do you? Well, you got flowers on your radio.
Why not?
I'm
so if
just asking
you
why.
went into a shop, if you went into a shop and they had a counter with no barriers either side, you would know that
Yeah,
behind,
that shop's not
behind
that
is a
shop's
pro-
not paid for
behind
by the
that area.
taxpayer.
No, but behind that kiosk area, even though you can access it, is an inaccessible point. That's another common sense approach. So you can see that from there to here, and then this bit here, common sense would dictate that this is not a public part of the domain. Yeah?
Okay, well this is all paid for by tax money, so
But you have to you understand why we're talking.
you understand
about
how like fiscal policy works. So the government tax, and then they spend on public services, and this is that. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah,
but-
it's a fiscal policy. It's the economic policy, right? So it dictates how spending and taxation works.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not here for a lesson. I'm just trying to talk
All
to
right,
you.
and I'm just trying to explain to you.
As a person,
Yeah.
from a person to a person, why we are managing the risk of somebody standing by the entrance that's constantly used to a police station.
Okay, have I satisfied that I'm not a risk?
Well, no, because we
All
still
right. Well,
don't
how
know
are you
who
going to satisfy it then?
Well, we're just.
Just remember, everything I'm doing right now is perfectly legal. So just remember that, and it's not antisocial. Well, why did you backpedal on that?
I didn't backpedal.
Yeah, you
so I
did.
educated you
But why are you not nicking me under Section 50 then?
Because I've got no reason to do it. Doesn't mean backpedaling.
Okay.
I'm trying to approach you with common sense. I don't like to unnecessarily criminalise people.
Oh, thank you. Good,
So-
good,
Me and my colleague have tried to appeal to your common sense nature, but clearly
good. I'm
If
happy
you
that
are
you're
known
not. I'm
to
happy
us,
that you're
you
not
have to come
criminalising people. That's good. You know of any officers doing stuff like that?
do I know of any else
Yeah.
unnecessary criminal?
Yeah, yeah. Never heard of that. Right, good, good. Why? How can you know you swore in a public place as well?
I didn't swear.
Yeah, you did.
I did not. And if that has offended you, then I do apologise, but I did not swear in a public place.
You did. You said the F word. I've got it on camera.
I swore, but I'm not in a public place.
All right. If you say so.
Okay.
Right, we done?
Yeah, you go about your day.
All right, you're dismissed. You're dismissed. Go away.
So, in this video, the auditor was simply filming outside a police station, a perfectly legal activity in a public space. Despite this, officers repeatedly threatened him with various laws, such as Section 50 of the Police Reform Act, trying to force him to identify without any valid reason. They then claimed the area wasn't public land and treated him like a security threat, which just isn't true. Throughout, the auditor stood his ground calmly while the officers overstepped their authority, even swearing and getting unprofessional. This is a clear example of police misunderstanding or misusing their powers to intimidate someone exercising their rights. It's important to know your rights and not be bullied into compliance without cause. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more audits breaking down police powers and holding officers accountable. Stay safe and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.